You're watching the show that puts Mid-Michigan news in focus. This is Focal Point.
Coming up on Focal Point, find out if MSU is prepared for a violent attacker situation.
Coming up on Focal Point, find out what MSU seniors are doing to prepare for the big day.
And a proposed bill to legalize ticket scalping in the state of Michigan comes with mixed opinions from sellers and buyers. Focal Point starts now.
Good evening, I'm Nick Blaskowski.
And I'm Tia Graham. Welcome to Focal Point. Last month on Michigan State's campus, a false alarm of a gunman scared thousands of students and left many wondering what to do in this situation.
Focal Point's Mara Thompson talked to faculty, staff, and students to discover just how ready we really are.
As one of the largest universities in the nation, Michigan State considers safety a top priority. So it was a surprise last month when many people did not know what to do when they received an alert of a possible gunman on campus.
If I had actually been in Bessie, I would have been completely confused about what to do.
Okay. Sorry. No problem.
Sheena Horsford is a doctoral student and teacher at MSU. Unlike many, she was prepared. She's a former Virginia Tech student, and even though she left campus a year before the shooting that occurred there, Michigan State's scare felt very real to her.
What scares me is if we don't take it serious, or if we are in a classroom and we don't have a plan, that it can just replicate itself and, people's lives could be lost for no reason.
While it's not required for faculty and staff to be trained for a violent attacker situation, she decided to be proactive.
It's a lot of students in my class, and if something was to happen, I would want us to at least be able to know that, okay, where are the exits if we need to get out.
But the threat at Bessie Hall may have acted as a wake-up call for other MSU faculty.
There was this response of, are our faculty ready as well?
Captain Kelly Raudebush from MSU's Department of Public Safety would love it if faculty, staff, and students were trained for an active shooter, but cannot require it.
But I do know that it's come as a strong recommendation from the university president.
Since many are not trained, they rely heavily on their text alert system, which is somewhat limited in its capabilities. With nearly 50,000 students, not every text will be received.
Some of these classrooms where either we have 20, 50, 300 students, if 2 students in that classroom get a text, that they speak up to the professor so that we know this is what's going on.
After receiving an alert from the police, it's important to turn off the lights and close the door. Unfortunately, at Michigan State, many of the doors don't lock, so you can make a barricade from desks and chairs to push in front of the door.
We don't do drills on this. It's too disturbing for people. So if you get this text, we really do think that there's a potential of a severe threat to the safety of our communities.
And although it may seem unlikely that Michigan State could be the victim of an attack, it's better to be safe than sorry.
I am aware in terms of if this was to happen, I think I have already thought like a couple of steps ahead of how I would prepare for this.
Those interested in taking a training course against violent attackers may contact the MSU Police Department at 517-355-2221. And to view the guidelines for a violent attacker, visit police.msu.edu. And even though in the demo you just saw, the door opened out into the hallway, but experts tell me anything you do to slow down an attacker could save lives.
Thank you, Mara. That's very good information to know. The families of the 239 people who went missing aboard the Malaysian airliner nearly 2 weeks ago are anxiously waiting for any news on the whereabouts of the plane. Now, Thursday, an Australian satellite may have spotted debris big enough to be part of the plane near the suspected search site. This discovery may bring closure to worried families who have been looking for a breakthrough in the case. The plane has been missing since March 8th, and this could lead to the end one of the biggest aviation. This could spark one of the biggest aviation searches in years.
With drastic temperatures and heavy snowfall, potholes are popping up everywhere, and Governor Snyder predicted this could be a record pothole season here in Michigan. Focal Point's Connor Wilton tells us how bad it's been and what's being done to get them fixed.
It's already been a very difficult winter for Michigan residents, with brutally cold temperatures and record snowfalls. And with that comes potholes, which spells trouble for drivers.
I just walked out to my car the next day and I hit a flat.
Steve Crone is a student at MSU. and has suffered 2 flat tires this year.
Yeah, same kind of thing. It's cold, pothole, and had to just replace it.
But what exactly causes potholes?
We've had a lot of moisture early in the winter.
Bill Conklin, the managing director of the Ingham County Road Department, says the weather is the main culprit.
And we've had a lot of very, very cold weather, which has driven frost deep into the ground underneath our roads.
One of the worst stretches of potholes is right here on the corner of Kalamazoo and Clippard Street. And with heavy snow melting forming puddles inside the potholes, it makes things even more difficult for drivers. But just how quickly are potholes patched?
We generally patch potholes as soon as they're reported or the next day at the latest.
But not everyone believes Michigan has been doing enough to fix potholes. John Hoadley, a small business owner running for State House, thinks we aren't investing enough in our roads.
We know that Michigan isn't doing enough right now to fix our pothole problem. I was glad to see that there was a supplemental appropriation in the last couple of weeks, but the reality is, just like the cold patch that it's paying for, that's a short-term solution.
Hoadley is also the creator of FixMIPotholes.com, which gives residents a chance to voice their own opinion.
The reality is that we need a state budget and a state government that's investing in our communities, that are investing in our people. And this is a way to start a conversation about all the different ways that our state legislature and the budget that we pass makes an impact on our lives.
Potholes have impacted Steve Crone's life, who has been without his car for over a week and is unsure when he'll be able to drive again.
It's probably going to be like mid next week, and they're closed on the weekends probably, so it's going to be like a week before I can drive again.
For Focal Point, I'm Connor Wilton.
Michigan Lieutenant Governor Brian Calley signed a $329 million mid-year spending bill last week, which will be used to help maintain Michigan roads and fix potholes.
Every day, sports and entertainment fans across the state are involved in a criminal activity, and many of them don't even know it is illegal. Ticket scalping. There may no longer be a need to worry, though. A bill allowing the public to legally resell event tickets above face value is now before the state Senate, and it's stirring up debate in and out of the Capitol.
For will call and to purchase tickets if available, please enter the ticket office on the south side of the Breslin Center.
Or buying from these guys is always an option.
Tickets for the game. Anybody need a ticket? I'm gonna go up top. Anybody need tickets?
Although scalping under current law is a misdemeanor punishable by 90 days in jail and a heavy fine, it's a common practice, whether it be by a private broker, a season ticket holder who can't make it to the game, or just regular Joes trying to make an extra buck.
People are trying to make money out here, you gotta get it where you live, Hey, go green.
State Representative Tim Kelly introduced the bill to decriminalize ticket scalping, a legislation he says is about civil liberty and protecting the rights of the consumer.
Let's institute free market principles and remove the government from the transaction between a willing buyer and a willing seller.
A familiar sight here on game day is a sign like this one. The bill would repeal a 1931 act banning the sale of tickets. Currently, it's a crime to sell a ticket above its face value without the authorization of a venue or event operator. Companies like StubHub and Ticketmaster can get away with it by entering into contracts with performance and sports venues.
Currently they're selling through their auspices, selling tickets above face value and thereby breaking the law.
There are 66 aye votes and 42 nay votes.
Now that the bill is under consideration by the state Senate, it faces pressure from venues like the ones at MSU.
I think one of our bigger concerns.
Meet David Bertram of the University Government Affairs Office.
The average person who wants to go to a sporting event.
He is among those pleading with the state Senate in an attempt to stop the bill from heading to the governor's desk.
The problem is it's the person who wants to go to a football game, right, a basketball game, or a concert, and they're not a Wharton season ticket holder, they're going to be the ones that suffer.
Wishing to speak in support of the bill, Zach Burris.
Living in East Lansing, is not always possible to attend every Tigers game.
21-year-old Zach Burris is an MSU junior and a member of the Michigan Ticket Fairness Coalition. Burris testified on the bill during its early stages in the month of January.
I'm there testifying, just kind of representing the common fan, because that once they own the ticket, I believe they should just have the right to do what they want with it. So,
as game time approaches and the tickets aren't yet sold, everybody loses, as it likely means empty seats and money lost. Michigan is one of only 8 states in the country without current prohibition on the reselling of event tickets. It's officially spring, and that means high school prom season is right around the corner, but for some Lansing area girls, shopping for dresses is a luxury they just can't afford. Hundreds of teens braved the cold last Saturday morning to get their hands on a dream dress inside the building. The annual event gives away free gently used dresses to girls who may not be able to afford a dress of their own this time of year. As the girls sorted through Cinderella's closet, mothers waited anxiously to see their daughters find happiness in a new dress.
I've been here since 7:45. This is one of my favorite projects to work on because the need out there for some girls who can't afford a prom dress and would otherwise not be able to go, we're helping fulfill that need in the community, and it just warms our heart to do so.
There's not even words to describe. Very proud, very happy for her, and very thankful.
The project has been running for 10 years, helping thousands of high school girls who are in need.
Coming up, we'll take you to the groundbreaking of the facility for rare isotope beams, 5 years in the making.
Plus, how to prepare for job hunting as many seniors finish their final weeks on campus.
Of triumph, of discovery, and achievement. But what makes these moments possible? It's the early mornings, the late nights. It's having the will to persevere. So let's take a moment to celebrate. But more importantly, let's salute the will it takes to get there. Spartans will. They've been called leaders, lifesavers, and world changers. They're also called Spartans.
From Lansing to D.C., a host of politicians joined MSU Luana K. Simon to kick off construction on campus.
And career help is on the way for graduating seniors. Mara Thompson joins us now with those stories and more on our campus report. Mara?
After more than 5 years of planning, the construction of a high-tech facility for global physics research finally becomes a reality.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. There we go.
Delegates put on their hard hats and grabbed some shovels this week to celebrate the groundbreaking of a facility for rare isotope beams. The effort is expected to be the state's largest building project and contribute $1 billion to the local economy. State lawmakers and U.S. senators believe the facility will make MSU a center of research for nuclear scientists from all over the world, advancing knowledge in science, medicine, and homeland security.
Short term, short being the next 8-10 years as it's being built, will be many thousands of construction jobs, and then there'll be thousands of science jobs that will be spun off from that, and you don't know where it can lead.
We are creating opportunities for undergraduates and graduate students to work in the labs, to be the next innovators, to drive America's future literally for hundreds of years to come.
University President Luana K. Simon says working with the federal government to get the project off the ground was a long, painful process.
This really was a team effort. The members of Congress were extraordinary, teaching me how to deal with them and explaining to me what to say and what not to say.
Preliminary work has already been done on the first part of the project, but construction will ramp up quickly now that the funding is in place. Commencements are quickly approaching, and MSU seniors are scrambling to balance classwork, jobs, and the stresses of trying to figure out what to do after graduation. Focal Point's Kevin Burrows talks to seniors and counselors for some tips on getting through the next 6 weeks.
What are you doing after graduation is a common question asked to all seniors around this time of the year.
Everything's just so up in the air. You know, I don't know where I'm living. I don't have a job set up. Everything's just really undecided and unknown.
Studio Arts and Media Information senior Mary Cox said she's nervous about life after MSU.
Knowing how to sell myself to an employer, and that's really what I'm working on right now.
MSU career consultant Karen Hansen says MSU provides a lot of resources that graduating seniors should utilize.
Students should check out careernetwork.msu.edu to see all of the different online resources available.
MSU also offers a variety of workshops to teach students how to network, how to communicate professionally, and even mock interviews.
I think we're leaps and bounds ahead of other schools in terms of what we offer for students career-wise and career planning-wise for professional development.
Students are landing their first job 3 to 6 months after graduation, and Hansen says to never give up.
Don't ever give up, keep pursuing, and treat your job search like you would treat a 3-credit class.
And Hansen says this is the most job postings she has seen in the last 5 years, working here for Michigan State University. And as you can see here, the unemployment rate has drastically decreased. Putting a lot of time into your job search will only benefit you for the good.
I've been here 5 years, and I feel ready. You know, I'm ready to move on to the next stage of my life and take what I've learned here into a job.
For Focal Point, I'm Kevin Burrows.
For more info on career advising, you can see your college's career advisor or career services in the Student Services building on campus. Nearly 300 people showed up ready to run the last Saturday for the MSU Tower Guard's annual Run, Walk, Roll 5K to benefit the MSU Resource Center for Persons with Disabilities. Runners braved the cold, windy weather and traversed MSU's campus to help Tower Guard raise money during their 14th annual race. Tower Guard is an MSU student organization that helps with students with disabilities, and members say they are passionate about raising money because of the impact they can make.
I'm a runner and I absolutely love races. I love working with stuff like this, but also just the fact that we are helping out the students. We're helping out not just a great organization, but helping out our peers. These are students that we go to school with, that we work with, that we see every day. So we're really trying to help them out, and that's what a lot of us in this organization are passionate about, is helping those people.
Turnout was a bit lower than normal because of the weather, but organizers were hoping to raise between $7,000 and $8,000. Developers are hoping to come up with a solution for the land that was once the Red Cedar Golf Course, and last week the community was invited to share their input. Area residents and developers met at the Foster Community Center to discuss details about the $250 million project known as the Red Cedar Renaissance. The plan for the 48-acre project is to have a mix of everything, including housing, shopping, dining, and a park. The development will be built off Michigan Avenue, located at the former Red Cedar Golf Course. Residents discussed topics such as transportation and economic concerns, but a big topic of the night was environmental concerns due to the 100-year flood that affected that area last August.
We can adopt things like permeated pavement for our parking spaces, or make sure we can preserve floodways and floodplains by integrating native species and plants to naturally absorb the water in this area.
If you're interested in voicing your opinion about the Red Cedar Renaissance, the next public meeting will be held on April 15th. MSU's Department of Theater opened the stage comedy Serpent Lady on Tuesday. The Serpent Lady is a magical fairy tale where the queen must test her husband's love. Will the husband still love the queen after she turns into a snake? The style of the stage play is told in Commedia dell'arte, which includes puppetry and masks. It is being performed in the Studio 60 Theater on campus at the auditorium and is showing all weekend.
Yeah, I'm loving being a part of this show because I'm usually part of the musicals and it's nice to do something different. This show is done in the style of Commedia dell'arte, which we learned a lot about in my comedy class because it's the root of all comedy. It really comes from these stereotype commedia characters. So there's a lot of those in this show that we learned about in my comedy class.
For showtimes, visit theater.msu.edu. That's all on campus. I'm Mara Thompson.
Thanks, Mara. The residents of Grand Ledge headed downtown last week for its annual St. Patrick's Day Parade. Friends and families gathered on the sidewalks to spend their afternoon waving to familiar faces and watch the floats pass by. In its 13th year, the parade has gone from a neighborhood event with homemade floats to a full-fledged parade for the entire community.
This is a big event for Grand Ledge. St. Patrick's Day Parade, I believe, is going on for, I think, 11 years strong now. Gives the community an opportunity to come together and kick off spring, but as you can see, it's not quite a spring day, but it's sunny, so that's good. And also gives the kids an opportunity to get out of the house and get candy.
It looked like it was a good time, don't you think so?
Yeah, a lot of people associate St. Patrick's Day with drinking the green beer. I always think of the Shamrock Shake from McDonald's, and unfortunately I didn't have time to get one this year.
Those are the best.
It's March and the madness has started. My bracket's destroyed already, but up next we'll show you why ESPN analysts and even the President of the United States chose MSU to win it all in this year's NCAA men's tournament.
And some local Olympians you might know were at the Capitol this week meeting with Governor Rick Snyder. Connor Wilton is up next with sports.
When I was greener than the hill, where to be.
I'm Connor Wilton with this week's sports. Well, the brackets are filled out and March Madness has officially begun. The MSU men's basketball team earned a number 4 seed in the East region. They traveled to Spokane, Washington to play Delaware Thursday afternoon. Adrian Payne led the team with a career-high 41 points as the Spartans rolled to a 93-78 win.
We didn't play real well, and yet I say that and I thought we'd beat a good team, so I don't know if I'm excited about that or mad about the fouling and the lack of discipline that we had. Adrian's a senior, he's not supposed to be quite that good, but if he'd keep his tail down in the post and we could go to him and he'd get fouls like that, he'd score that more often.
You know, that's a great accomplishment, but you know, it was a great team effort by my teammates being able to give me the ball in situations where I can score the ball.
They'll take on Harvard tomorrow in hopes of advancing to the Sweet 16. The road to the Final Four started last weekend with a stop in Indianapolis for the Big Ten tournament. The Spartans beat the Wolverines for the tournament title on Sunday, and many say it's the great fan support that helped get them there. Focal Point's Tiara Morocco traveled to Indy to show us all the crazy fans.
Red, blue, green, and purple. These were some of the colors that painted the streets of Indianapolis, where fans from all over came to support their teams in the Big Ten tournament.
Go green! Go white! Go green!
It was quite the celebration with music, dancing, and cheering as thousands of people filled up the Bankers Life Fieldhouse all weekend long.
You can kind of just feel the buzz of the tournament in the whole city, and you have all the fans just united in one spot.
Just down the street from the Lucas Oil Stadium, where the MSU football team defeated Ohio State in the Big Ten Football Championship in December, MSU fans were excited to watch a healthy Spartan basketball team, a team that they have been missing for months.
It's good to see that they're meshing, they're coming together, and it's typical of an ISO team just to really mesh in March. And so I'm excited to see what happens in the tournament and what happens in the NCAA tournament.
Green and white and maize and blue packed the arena as the arch rivals met for the third time this season in the championship game.
Michigan State fans were not disappointed as they watched their Spartans defeat the Michigan Wolverines for the Big Ten championship title.
It just feels great to win the Big Ten tournament. That was one of our goals coming into the season, and anytime you can do that against your rival, a team that's beat you twice earlier this year, I mean, you feel a lot better. But hopefully this gets us rolling for the NCAA tournament. We hope to win that too.
Big Ten tournament champions, Michigan State Spartans.
MSU fans were able to leave Indy with a Big Ten tournament title and the number 4 seed in the NCAA tournament, making their trip worthwhile. Focal Point, I'm Tiara Morocco.
The team came into the Big Ten tournament healthy and confident and defeated Northwestern and Wisconsin to get to the championship game. And once they beat Michigan, the celebration on the court began with the presentation of the championship trophy and the tradition of cutting down the nets.
It's really an undescribable feeling, you know, just to see the confetti falling on you and holding the trophy, putting on the hats and the shirts. It's a crazy feeling, and I hope I get to witness that feeling one more time or multiple times before my career ends.
While the men's tournament is underway, the women's game starts Saturday. The MSU women's team gathered in the basketball office theater to watch a selection show on ESPN. Players filled in their brackets as the seedings were announced. MSU received a 5th seed and will play 12-seed Hampton University Sunday at 12:40 in Chapel Hill. Regardless of the opponent, Coach Susie Merchant says it's important to stay focused.
I think at this time of year, you just kind of keep your eye on the prize and, you know, work at competing and putting the best game plan together to get after whether it be Hampton the first game, and then if you're lucky enough to move on, the second game.
The hype around the Spartans is even resonating with our nation's leader. 6th year, President Barack Obama made his picks with ESPN's Andy Katz and chose the Spartans to go all the way. Obama hasn't had much luck on his side the last few years, as the last time he correctly picked the national champion was in 2009 when North Carolina defeated Michigan State. The Michigan State hockey team ended its regular season with a loss against Wisconsin. On a day where the MSU senior class was being honored, including team captain Greg Wolf, the Spartans were unable to send them out with a victory. The 5th-ranked Badgers were all over the Spartans early, scoring 4 goals in the first period. MSU fought back valiantly, though, with Matt Berry and senior Dean Chelios combining to score 2 goals in the second. William Hagg added another goal in the third, but it was not enough as Wisconsin held on for the 4-3 victory. The Spartans season officially came to an end yesterday, suffering a 2-1 defeat in overtime to Ohio State in the Big Ten tournament. And finally, Olympic gold medalists and new Dancing with the Star contestants, Merrill Davis and Charlie White, visited the state capitol last week. Governor Rick Snyder presented the Olympians with recognition awards not only for winning gold, but for their efforts with fighting childhood obesity in the state. Snyder also presented Special Olympics gold medalist Tadora Supremo with an award for her efforts as well. Davis and White, of course, are Michigan natives hailing from Ann Arbor. They became the first to win gold medals in ice dancing for the U.S. And that's what's happening in sports. I'm Connor Wilton.
Thanks, Connor. Even though the snow is still on the ground, the annual Fenner Nature Center Maple Syrup Festival is one sure way to tell that spring is coming. The Environmental Education Center celebrated its 40th year of the festival in the heart of Lansing, covering 134 acres. A collection of maple trees, otherwise known as a sugar bush, turned from a production site into an educational opportunity for people to see demonstrations on historical forms of maple tree harvesting along with tree tapping. Children also learned how to properly tap into the bark, and many of them stuck around for a pancake breakfast, and enjoyable pancake breakfast as well.
We try to make sure that the festival is throughout most of the property, at least so that people get a chance to get away from the parking lot, away from the building. And when they come around this turn where the sidewalk comes into the sugar bush, it's so cool to see people's faces when they light up and they go, I didn't even know this was here, whoa.
Even with the colder weather this year, organizers say nearly 1,000 people attended, including many tourists who are from out of state.
I would really love some of those maple syrup pancakes right now. But that's the end of our show. We'll leave you now with some highlights from Porgy and Bess, the Tony Award-winning Broadway musical playing at the Worden Center now through Sunday. Good night.
Good night and good luck on your bracket this year.